Government's pledged to do everything it can to fix the migrant crisis, but how about the French? Should they be doing more? With us, French journalist and broadcaster Nabila Ramdani. Hello to you, Nabila. Thanks for joining us on Sky News. Some suggestions in the past that as far as the French are concerned, certainly the Mayor of Calais is concerned and the Deputy Mayor, this is a British problem.
Well, I think that the first thing to say really is that this is an absolute crisis. Young men and indeed women are now dying as they try to make this hugely perilous journey across the Channel Tunnel. And they are taking huge risks in doing so. And remember that this is an installation which has, which is full of high-speed trains, lorries which come in and off the trains, and high-voltage power units. So I think the first priority, the absolute priority, is to try to stop intrusions into this potentially lethal area. And it's very clear to all of us that not enough is being done at the moment. The French government is currently blaming everybody from the British government to the Eurotunnel manager. The French Interior Minister, Bernard Cazeneuve, has just written a letter to Eurotunnel effectively accusing them of not doing enough. And Bernard Cazeneuve is in fact prepared to throw money and indeed more police officers at the problems, but the overwhelming feeling is that the French are blaming the British for what's happening. They're effectively saying that Britain is a far more liberal society, that they're criticising the ease with which migrants can claim asylum in Britain and slip into the black economy, while in France, nominally it runs a very effective asylum system, but there are huge bureaucratic delays, and it's very, very difficult to actually get into the benefit system as well. Whereas in Britain, it's very much migrants view Britain as a much more tolerant society, where access to a generous benefit system is easier.
Is there much appeal for asylum within France? Do you find that illegal immigrants do want to stay in the country?
I mean, it's abundantly clear that from the scenes we're seeing in Calais, the migrants are desperate to get into Britain, precisely for all the reasons I've just outlined. They view Britain as a much more tolerant country, where you can not only claim asylum more easily, but get work on the black market. France is also known for deporting asylums back. Clearly, that's not a prospect that the migrants would want to happen, and there are not many, solutions that can be envisaged, I'm afraid. I think this is a disastrous stalemate that we are witnessing, and there are no sensible solutions on offer.
Interesting that the British have indeed are paying for this mile and a half long fence to try to protect the entrance to the tunnel, also to protect the lorry drivers who are queuing, waiting to get either across the channel by sea or indeed through the tunnel. What are the French doing?
Well, I think, the French and the British are now trying to work together. There's a lot of diplomacy involved, and, and as with all problems which can't be solved, we are seeing that everybody's effectively blaming each other. But they are looking at different options. One of them, the British keep talking about building fences, for example. I don't think that in the long run fences can actually solve anything, nor can they secure areas. I was speaking to a French police officer yesterday who effectively told me that they are dealing with very fit, determined young men who are escaping, war-torn countries or come from countries which are very much considered troubled parts of the world, and they just won't give up. They will try to get to Britain in any way they can. Another thing that the authorities on both sides can't really do is lock up all the migrants, because that's, simply inhumane and crucially against the human rights. We are effectively talking about 5,000 migrants who are currently in Calais, and this problem keeps going on year after year. And the issue, I think, is increasingly migrants who come from troubled parts of the world, who, for some of them, have very good asylum cases, and governments on both sides of the Channel will, and Europe in general, will have to work out how to deal with them.
Okay, good to talk to you. Thank you.